The players are ready, we are ready, and this game is off. From Dorrance Field in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the Princeton Tigers, Abigail Roberts digs out the first possession of the game. The Tigers will get back to work, will get to work. Nice trail check, ball is loose. You can see the ferocious play by Chloe Humphrey, number 2 in white. She is a terrific goal scorer, but also showing she can play defense as well. And North Carolina causes the turnover, gets the first possession, but then Princeton wins it right back. Over to Humphrey, gets to that left hand. She goes into the teeth of that Tiger defense, loses the ball. Loose ball in front of the goal crease. Humphrey digs it out.
And that's the second time she's come up with a crucial ground ball to keep possession for the Tar Heels. Something she's been working on the offensive end is protecting that stick through the dodge. So that's what broke up the play.
So quick, so talented. Hughes almost picked off that pass. Retreats back to her goal cage. Fake flip up top. Spin inside, shot, and a score. North Carolina is on the board. That is Kaylee Harden, redshirt sophomore out of New Canaan. Tar Heels up 1-0.
Starting out with Humphrey to Godine, looking at some cutters inside and then eyeing up her defense right in front of her. What I like about this, she notices that she's overplayed a little bit. That's when you get the rollback. Kaylee Harden, number 17 in white, once she realizes she has the defense on her heels, she powers through, and they remembered that. So they're fueled, yes, not just by being that number 1 seed, but by wanting to give back of where they felt they could have been last year.
Humphrey with the shot, Hughes with the save. Beautiful pickup off of that rebound. And look at the 4 white jerseys just swarm. And that is beautiful ball protection. And the run out by Zoe Bai, number 10 in black, who Jen Cook, the head coach of Princeton, just says she is tough.
You know what, I expect for a lot of defensive pressure when that ball is trying to be cleared out from Princeton's side. Montez is definitely one of those speedy players that can be a spark on that offensive end. She's a player who you'll see flying in from the box.
We're going to have a foul against Princeton.
We're going to see our first 8-meter free position. 4 and 8-meter, but Caroline's pretty quick off the line.
Godine loads up and Hughes eats it. Beautiful save from Amelia Hughes. 15 points, 13 goals, 2 assists last weekend in Baltimore in Princeton wins over UMass and Johns Hopkins. She is a scoring machine. Number 8 in black, weaving her way right down Franklin Street. Flag is out. Foul is against North Carolina.
Teen on UNC, Eliza Osborne is where this 8-meter is stemming from.
And Whiteway sticks it.
A lot of power and a lot of placement on that shot. Sophie Whiteway, one of those gritty players. Her coach called this IB Defensive Player of the Week. Just one of those sparks, both sides of the field.
Whiteway gets the Princeton Tigers on the board.
She's a communicator. She called her the voice on that defensive end. If you're not talking, it can be hard to figure out where defense is going.
This has been a really physical matchup so far. Number 45 in white, first team All-ACC selection, Brooklyn Walker-Welch, taking on 17 in black, Jamie McDonald, a junior, a second team All-Ivy performer.
And getting collected a little bit slowly. So if these shots were on cage, it could be potentially a very different scoring of a game.
Rolling back is Harden. Harden gets in, denied. Amelia Hughes met that shot stick on stick, but look at 17, track it down. Again, rebound picked up by the Carolina Tar Heels. Motice flings it. Possession stays with Carolina. Restart, pass onto the side. Osborne gets depossessed. Whistle stops play. That'll be a foul.
Lucky that there wasn't a yellow card pulled out, but I potentially think there could have been one on the previous possession against the UNC attacker.
Osborne races to the cage, and she makes no mistake about that one. Slams it into the far post. Carolina back up by 1.
As we take a quick peek at this 8-meter free position, Eliza Osborne is so explosive. Off of that 8-meter line, you have to be able to take off quickly.
That's a long list of accomplishments.
Quite a few. This last draw control is super important because the team with possession can essentially run out the clock, get the last available shot.
Ball now behind the cage. Looks like Princeton in somewhat of a zone. Really packing it in. Vergano, a flip. Nice exchange down the alley. Godin looks in front. There's a cutter shot to score. Marissa White takes the feed, slips it past Amelia Hughes. Terrific execution. The Tar Heels are up by a pair.
I had the opportunity to visit UNC in their practice yesterday, and they are prepared for any and everything. A face guard again for Ashley Humphreys. Godin, she becomes the facilitator when she is out. So they're using her as a pick at the top of the 8.
The assist by Carolyn Godin. You mentioned she's become the facilitator with the face guard on number 77 in white. Or excuse me, number 18 in white, Ashley Humphrey. Carolina looking to get more. This is Osborne gliding into the crease. Goes the shot into the stick. Hughes secures it.
And it was hard to compete without your stars. They learned a lot as a team. And she said they were preparing for 2025 and 2024. And obviously they've done a good job. Second and third chances. I think they're doing a good job defensively. Yes, the shooting could be a little bit better for the Tar Heels, but they have to be happy. They have to make sure that they are clearing the ball safely, coming up with those ground balls as well.
Godin.
The goalie is making big time saves too.
Godin with a dart, stopped by Amelia Hughes, as once again Ashley Humphrey, 18 in white, being face guarded by number 10 in black, Zoe Bly. 6 saves now for Amelia Hughes.
Right, and we're just in the first quarter.
Yeah.
She had 12 against UMass. That was the first round game of the NCAAs. And again, difficulty clearing the ball. UNC is all over the ride. Again, 2 players on, 2 off. Makes it just a little bit difficult to have options when you're clearing that ball.
Chloe Humphrey, head of steam to the goal, shoots and scores. And there we see why Humphrey is a finalist for the Tewaaraton to be awarded next month in Washington, D.C.
Credit this to the defense. Defense, they are riding hard, getting that ball back for the team in white, and then getting it into the ever-capable hands of Chloe Humphreys. We just see she got a step on her defensive player, the direction of where you're saving that ball. But two, I don't even know how she did it. I can't even describe the speed with which she was juggling and then doing it, slapping it against the wall as well.
Humphrey fakes the shot, pumps it inside to White, who slips it past Amelia Hughes. Outstanding execution. Carolina now up 4-1.
We talk so much about Ashley Humphrey being the assister, but you see the ball move from one side of the field to the other. We see that quick double from Princeton. Soon as they're on Chloe, right there, her eyes are up. She knows that she's going to have a teammate cutting because it's the off-ball work that's so important. And Marissa White putting goal number 5 on the board for the Heels. You know, they have more depth. When you have the depth, you're not getting as tired on the field. And this offense, they have just been pouncing on a defense that has had to play multiple sets over and over again, and that's tiring. They're sending doubles, they're sending slides. It's hard to kind of recover and then get back on players.
Motice gets the ball right on top of the crease and finishes, and it is all Tar Heels right now.
Quick ball movement again off of the double team on Chloe Humphrey. Caroline Godin, I like her at X. She has great vision on the field. And then Kylie Motice, player inside, nice little composure, collecting the ball, being calm, cool, and collected with a quick little finish.
Teams are back at even strength. The Tigers in desperate need of a goal, trailing 6-1. Montez, tremendous first step. Nice feed to Blake. Blake, hands free. She rings it off the pipe. That was a nasty shot.
It's hard to play a lot of defense, but they're doing it well. This is the #1 team in the country. North Carolina, they know how to put up a lot of goals. Just 6 so far.
Godin makes it number 7. on Carolina's 23rd shot of the ball game. Just a nice feed out front. Godine collects it and sticks it.
North Carolina doing what they do best, sharing the ball on the offensive end of the field.
Making life really difficult for Princeton to get it from defense to offense.
Anytime you have a face guard and you elect to pull that player off to the side, it just creates a bigger lane to goal. That's a 6v6 inside, and we've seen different things happen on the offensive end for the Tar Heels. Either they used her as a pick or they pulled her off the side to have better looks at cage, but the Tigers have somebody named Amelia Hughes between the pipes, and she has been a big bright spot for the defense.
She's made another tremendous save, and there you see Chloe Humphrey with a trail check.
Very smart of Ashley Humphrey to bring the ball in from out of bounds. That's a surefire way to make sure that she has possession of the ball. She has her defender hung up on top of that circle of the crease.
And there she just does a little fake, and you have to respect the feeding ability so much. Throws a sky whammy, was able to step above goal line extended, slips it underneath Amelia Hughes, and 18 in white. Ashley Humphrey is on the score sheet.
This is goal number 30 for Ashley Humphrey. As you mentioned, you do have to respect her. She can score at will.
She sees a lot of face guards, and she's seeing one here tonight for Princeton. Carolina's run continues. They are now have scored 7 unanswered. And another draw control win for the Tar Heels.
Closer on the field, so even though I'm wearing my zebra shirt, I'm not an official referee today.
6 turnovers for Princeton. Inside roll, great handle. Hughes stepped out, looked like she got a piece of it, but it just had enough juice to get over the goal line. Kaylee Harden, once again, great individual effort. Love the inside roll, and Jen Cook can only look on as Carolina has now scored 8 in a row.
Kaylee Harden had goal number 1 for UNC. Now this is number 9. I like that she drags her defender up the line, and as she's taking her up the line, they tend to overplay, and that's when you have the quick roll back on the underside. Laser eyes of the referee crew on the field for that stepping on the line. Addison Patillo, she was behind the cage at X. And then the ride again, ride from UNC, so difficult.
Hard check, and Amelia Hughes, the one-on-one, made the save. Hughes is standing on her head. What a stop. Couple fakes. McDonald finds Blake. Blake, whistle stops her go to cage as a shooting space, and this is a golden opportunity for number 34 in black. Again, Princeton has not been held scoreless in any quarter so far this season. That one shoots off wide. Blake misses the golden opportunity. McDonald on the restart. Walker Welch applying the tough defensive pressure. McDonald gets to the center of the field, shoots and scores, and the 8-goal run by the North Carolina Tar Heels has been snapped.
Jamie McDonald with the dodge, the hesitation, and the re-dodge. We see just a little pick action play. Defensively, it's hard to get through. Brooklyn Walker Welch, no communication there between she and Kate Levy.
And Princeton now, with 53 seconds left in the first half, will look to capitalize. Whiteway wins a big draw.
Halftime, feeling positive about their play, especially on the offensive end of the field, that they would have the ability to make a change.
McDonald gives it up to Blake, less than 10 seconds to go. She gets to the middle of the field, evades some of the checks, it rings off the pipe. Mackenzie Blake with a rocket.
You know, but on the bright side, the saves that their goalkeeper has had, she's been doing a great job of keeping them in the game with a total of 8. I like the speed with which Eliza Osborne dodges. She's often able to draw a slide, that double team, which creates some more open opportunities for her teammates.
That was a shot beforehand, though, a violation against North Carolina. Tough ground ball picked up by Princeton. They just dodged a bullet right there, but then that crossfield pass picked off. Osborne cruising to the cage, shot, Hughes again. Beautiful save. Read it. Little windshield wiper action offside. And number 12, Amelia Hughes, is having a day.
Having a day, you know, at this point, you say she's doing everything that she needs to do. Coming around the backside of the crease. This is another goal for Ashley Humphrey.
Yeah, Humphrey on the restart just comes around the cage and dunks it home. And Amelia Hughes is just playing outstanding, but what a dodge by 18 and White.
A great dodge, but it was set up from the hustle play behind the goal. So another ground ball. Credit that to the heels.
North Carolina on the power play, and they find Pater. Caroline Godine takes the feed, rips the far corner, and Carolina has picked up right where they left off in the first half.
Caroline Godine, this is her 20th goal on the season as she gives that ball back to Ashley Humphrey. Ashley with her eyes up, nice little give and go between she and Godine. What's super special about this goal, Mark? This is now the record for number 1-8.
Ashley Humphrey, with that helper, has now become the Division I career assist leader, breaking the record of 246 by Coley Ohlmiller of Stony Brook, to enjoy possession here against this Princeton team. Again, Princeton in their first quarterfinal since 2019. Head coach Jen Cook telling us that it means so much to the program. The support from alums has been off the charts. Texts, phone calls.
A little bit upset as we saw the camera zoom in on her, and she had a few words spoken out loud.
Princeton looking for their first shot of this quarter. North Carolina has put 7. There's a feed out front. Mackenzie Blake. Nice finish. Good feed from number 7 in black, Haven Dora. That is her 59th assist on the season, and Princeton takes advantage of the power play.
Again, a player up opportunity, 7 players due to that green card. What I like is they have the defense shifting and rotating. They're in a zone defense, a player down inside, quick ball movement, and an even quicker quick stick inside for Mackenzie Blake off of that. She's done such a great job throughout the year. Then you do see a couple of BC players who are in her way, and I think all of a sudden it's going to come down to who goes the farthest in the NCAA tournament.
There is a shot and a score. Nina Montez, the senior out of Chicago, Illinois. She had 5 goals in her last 4 games, make it 6 and 5. Montez gives Princeton back-to-back tallies.
You know, this is the life that Princeton was looking for. They like this matchup. 2 very speedy players. Oftentimes they've been trying to pump that ball to the inside. And even though that's a low angle shot, I like the look. She beats her defender with speed and then just a hard shot to cage. And this is a matchup that they've certainly liked a lot. Eliza Osborne looking to beat that 1v1, cause some slides to occur.
Humphrey draws 2, finds Osborne, and she slams it home. Terrific offense again. Chloe Humphrey draws a crowd, slips it to the open space. Osborne with the finish.
A freshman and a redshirt freshman for the Tar Heels. The future is bright for North Carolina. Stick with us because we have more action to come.
Saying last year people took some joy in them struggling and waved bye to them after beating them, you know, in a mocking tone. And she said, we remember that. And this year they are playing at a very high level. Number 1 seed, number 1 team in the country, undefeated. But Jen Cook had an outstanding playing career here. Her and Jenny Levy still tight. First text she received after the Princeton Tigers knocked off Hopkins a week ago was from Jenny Levy. See you next weekend in Chapel Hill, and I'm not surprised at your success.
You know, assistant coach Marie McCool for the Tar Heels. I asked her the same question because she played soccer growing up. And she's like, I think I could have been a defender too on the team. I'm like, is there some eligibility maybe in there? You never know.
North Carolina off of the free position. Shot and a score. Nice bouncer. The Virginia Tech transfer, Olivia Vergano, junior out of West Babylon, New York, sticks it. Carolina up by 9.
Excellent ball movement. When you're up a player, it's all about making the defense shift and rotate around. And surprise, surprise, who fed that ball? No, none other than Ashley Humphrey. You know, the grass looks so beautiful, you often forget that it is grass. And talking with Jen Cook, she said this is actually like one of the few times that we've played on grass. You know, up in New Jersey, you think of the lacrosse season in February. There's a lot of snow, rain. Not a lot of teams play on grass up north.
Eliza Osborne streaking off of the draw right down Franklin Street and sticks it. Osborne is a special kind of athlete. She shows it right there and gets the Carolina lead back to 10.
Straight from the draw circle, this is an all-out battle. And Eliza Osborne coming up with the ball, using that speed throughout the midfield. Between the 30s, she's a special talent, but she goes hard to the cage. I think it's going to be a really exciting matchup, and one often that once the team who's lost that previous season, and it was BC who bested Northwestern, you know that they're going to come out and ready to be on fire.
We'll have 3 Tewaaraton finalists in that game. Shea Dolce, the goaltender for Boston College. Rachel Clark, a prolific scorer for the Eagles, has another turnover on the clear for Princeton. Feed down low, there's Hughes. Another save for the netminder. Memorial Day weekend. And how cool is it that the men and the women are together? That is just going to provide extra juice for both tournaments. Shot and a score, talk about juice. Princeton puts it home.
Jamie McDonald, number 17 for the Tigers. I like the slow, methodical offense. They aren't looking to rush too much. A little rocker step. Tough defense by Brooklyn Walker-Welch, but that ball just kind of landed, plopped in the back of the net. It's not necessarily about the speed, but it's about the placement. And we see that that shot wasn't incredibly fast.
Her father, Ed, a member of that 1992 national title team for the Princeton Tigers, and she co-hosts the Sticks and Stripes podcast up at Princeton. Foul against Princeton. Again, it's Montez.
She's a player who's fast off the line. So if you aren't on her stick, this could be difficult for the UNC defense.
Montez uses that speed, gets inside, flings it over top the cage, backed up by the Tigers. Quick restart. Haven Dora, incredible assist player. Gets it to Whiteway, by save, Betty Nelson. Read that one and just fights it off. Terrific save from the North Carolina goaltender. McDonald comes back again. Her and Walker-Welch, the immovable force.
Felt like it was too much extension and pushing from the defense. This is another 8-meter for Princeton.
Feet up top, and there's a goal. Jamie McDonald, just right off the restart, slams it home, and Princeton refuses to go away.
This is the second time in this third quarter that we've seen some back-to-back goals from Princeton. What I like about this, she took herself off the line quickly, and that nice little fake, she froze the goalkeeper on Jamie McDonald. I'd like to see the open player get to her sooner. You know, it just seems like offensively they haven't been playing a ton of offense, so they need to work a bit harder to get open for their teammates. Now's not the time to hide behind a tree. It's work for one another.
Ivy League Attacker of the Year will have a free position staring down Betty Nelson. Can Princeton make it 3 goals in a row? Blake steps to her left and hammers a rocket past Nelson. They have cut Carolina's lead down to 7.
Mackenzie Blake, she is such a spark on the field. I like her drive to goal, got that defensive player to commit going forward who's crashing in from her side. And that's what gave her the lane to the away from that defensive player.
For North Carolina's offense, Kaylee Harden with a hard dodge to cage up to Humphrey. Humphrey and Allen have been battling all night. Humphrey gets right into the heart of that Tiger defense. Late whistle, much to the chagrin of the Princeton coaching staff. She will have a free position opportunity.
I thought that was some great defense by Dylan Allen. The slide coming in, Sam Whiting, what the referees are calling. Her stick was in close.
Humphrey with the shot, saved by Hughes, and Humphrey got dumped. Trying to get back in this game. We saw Duke rally furiously against Florida earlier today. We saw Penn make a run late against Northwestern. Another shot saved by Nelson, fights it off. And it looks like a crease violation against the Tigers, gives it to North Carolina. Nice save. Continue to wear down this Princeton defense. Harden. Violation against Princeton. Whistle blows, stops play.
Just not recovering quick enough.
Nice feed inside, Humphrey. Beautiful cut, nice look, clean finish. Carolina has broken the 3-goal Princeton run.
Ashley Humphrey does such a good job of just seeing the field. It's probably a good thing that it's her sister, and they've probably done this 1,000 times in the backyard.
But as we look at Florida and North Carolina, what immediately jumps out to you between those two teams? As Mackenzie Blake wants to silence me for talking about that potential matchup, as she gets topside, finishes with the left hand, and Princeton is back within 7.
That's right. She says, hold up, wait a second. This was created off that initial dodge. I like that Mackenzie Blake is always ready to get that ball into her stick. Maggie Molnar with the dodge. All eyes were on her. Mackenzie Blake just managed to slip through. She is shooting on another level.
First time since 2019 being in the quarterfinals. It is a warm day here in Chapel Hill. I don't think it's as warm as it was in Gainesville, where it was reported 93 degrees. And there's another goal, and that's Eliza Osborne. I have been incredibly impressed with the freshman out of Castle Rock, Colorado.
As you mentioned, just a freshman, but she has the ability to beat her matchup. I think right there defensively, just facing the wrong way. They're like forcing her towards the middle of that cage, or middle of the critical scoring area. You don't want her to get a step on you. She is so quick. And then with that quick flick of the wrist, turn and track the ball, move to it, all in one motion.
Caroline Godine going to the cage. Flag saved by Harris. Flag is waved off. Up to Colette Quinn. Quinn, ankle breaking move on Trujillo. Gets free shot. That is popcorn. Good move, but that shot placement just not where it needed to be.
Not where it needed to be, and I would have liked to have seen her carry it in a little farther. That was just a step inside the 8. And for Betty Nelson, like you said, it was almost like taking candy from a baby.
She'll have a free position, staring down Amelia Harris, who's been tremendous tonight for Princeton. Shot, and that one's going to solve. The junior goaltender for the Princeton Tigers, Marissa White, finds the back of the net once again for the Tar Heels.
Marissa White, again, we see her hedging away from that defensive player to her right, giving just a slight extra second.
Rematch of a regular season game. One, you mentioned, by the Tar Heels in Gainesville. Chloe Humphrey gets free, and there's Harris once again with a nice save. And not only tracking the ball, Courtney, but saving it clean, not giving up a rebound. That was a golden opportunity to slice this lead back down to 8. This Princeton team, no quit. Colette Quinn. Osborne continuing to work. Shot and a goal. That was nice. Number 7 in black, Haven Dora, finds the back of the net. And again, this Princeton team, just so much heart, so much hustle.
Haven Dora, number 7 for the Tigers. That little stutter, that slight hesitation, and then explosive move to goal. That's what gave her the separation from her defender, Haven Dora.
The career assist record, formerly held by Kayla Sears. And she's only a junior, so she's just going to continue to create distance with the helpers. Mackenzie Blake closing out a sterling career as a Princeton Tiger. Another shot and a goal. Jamie McDonald, very impressive lefty. The Canadian, no quit in this Princeton Tiger team as they get to double digits.
The draw was won by Mackenzie Blake, and then Haven Dora, she's the one with the vision. They're getting the defense turning for North Carolina, but you gotta have cuts and off-ball work. Jamie McDonald, she is putting in the work right now. Talk about new players who stepped onto the field. We see the third Humphrey sister. It's always nice when you get to see the connection, not just with two, but three. You've seen the three of them string together, pass, a hockey assist, and a goal. They'll also have that opportunity. Darcy Felter, number 11 for the Tar Heels, in addition, getting some action on the field.
Nicole Humphrey, a graduate, transferred in from USC. And there's a goal. Number 7 is Riley Casey, graduate student. We just talked about her a few minutes ago. Gets on the score sheet.
Riley Casey, this is her 10th goal of the season, kind of sneaking around the backside of the crease. Ashley Humphrey, her eyes are always scanning the field.
Dylan Allen, good to see her back on the pitch. Picks up a tough ground ball inside to McDonald. McDonald gets leverage, shoots, save. Betty Nelson. Nice ride. Whiteway refuses to relent. Princeton continuing to pressure. 40 seconds left to go in the game. Nina Montez gets to the cage, rings off the side. And that should finish it up here for the North Carolina Tar Heels. They are going back to championship weekend, searching for this program's another national title. It would be their 4th under the leadership of Jenny Levy.
Tremendous effort by the Tar Heels, again to the very last second.
There's a steal and a goal just to put the exclamation point on things. And that is not going to go over well at holiday dinner as Addison Patillo scores on her cousin Amelia Hughes, takes her lunch money.
She was just relentless in the ride, and it's all about causing turnovers. The Tar Heels have just been a force when the Tigers have been trying to clear that ball.
No hard feelings, cuz.
No, you love that.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. That was terrific. That's it. The North Carolina Tar Heels have stamped their ticket, and this will be the 14th time North Carolina has advanced to the NCAA semifinals.